Alright, welcome to chapter 3. And so in this chapter, we're going to be using costs for decision making. And let's see, first of all, so this, I saved a blank template in Canvas you guys can go into so you can work along with me. And what this is going to do is we're basically just going to go through all of the homework assignments for all the chapters for the whole class. So when you guys go into my accounting lab to work through these problems, you'll have a kind of walkthrough of how to do it. The problems in my accounting lab will be the same problems, just different numbers. So hopefully this is kind of helpful, a helpful walkthrough and kind of explaining how to do this. So in this first problem, in problem 3-50, we're going to be introduced into different kind of costs, and so we're going to be looking at specifically in this one contribution margin. And so contribution margin is simply, hey, if we take our total sales dollars and we subtract out the variable cost, whatever's left over, that's going to contribute to paying our fixed costs and go to profit. And so variable costs, that's anytime you sell one unit of whatever we're selling, if your costs go up, that's the variable cost to go up. So in this problem, we're talking about compact disc players. Wow, how old is this problem, huh? Looks like they haven't updated their books for a while. But anyway, so when they sell one of these compact disc players, they're going to have certain variable costs. That's going to be like the material that goes into it, the labor that goes into it. So every time they make one of these, the cost of plastic goes up, the cost of direct labor goes up. And so that's going to be the variable cost related to it. Then we also have fixed costs, that's going to be things that aren't going to change as we sell more units. And so that's going to be maybe the rent on the building, or maybe the manager's salary, or items like that. So, whether we sell one or we sell a million, fixed costs aren't going to change. Alright, so let's take a look at problem 3-50. And so here we have a company deciding to sell compact disc players. So either this is from the 80s or they don't realize that we don't use these anymore. So anyway, they're selling them at $105 a unit. And so they're going to introduce this new model. And so we have the information for this new model, and so they estimate they're going to sell 120,000 units. And then we have our direct material costs, our direct labor costs, our variable manufacturing overhead, sales commissions, and fixed costs. And so they also know, this says, hey, if we sell this new product, our existing model, the sales for those are going to go down. People might want to buy this new one. So they expect, hey, if we introduce this new product, our sales from the existing units are going to go from 300,000 down to 240,000. So we'll decrease by 60,000 units. And so it also says we have a contribution margin on the existing of $20 per unit. So, and this first part asks us, determine the total impact on Santos's profit for introducing the new model. So we have a scenario where we expect to make a profit on this new one, but we also expect to lose a little bit of profit on the existing units. And we got to figure out, hey, is this a good deal or not? So we have this template set up, and I just kind of pulled over some of this existing data over here into Excel so we can actually use the numbers. And so the first step with this is we want to take these costs and break it down to a per unit basis. And so we have our direct material cost right here, and we're just going to divide that by the total number of units. And then we'll just press F4 to lock that cell reference down. And then if we just hit Control D, or you can also drag down, it'll just drag that formula down. So what this is saying here is, hey, based on this new product, For every for one of these new compact disc players we sell, it's going to cost us $30 in material, $20 in direct labor, and $10 in direct manufacturing costs. And so next we want to go down here to put in the selling price per unit. They expect to sell it at $105 a piece. And then we already have some formulas linked up that just went up here, and I just grabbed the variable cost for each one of these units. However, we also have sales commission, which is a variable cost, so we need to plug in the information for that. The formula is a little bit different, and so because it says that sales commissions are going to be 10% of sales, we want to take our sales price per unit and just multiply that times 10%. Now we want to figure out what all of our variable costs per unit are, so let's just sum those up. And so what this is saying is that, hey, for every time we sell one compact disc player, we're going to receive $105, but we're going to pay out $70.50 in variable cost, which means we're going to have a contribution margin of $34.50. And so that doesn't necessarily mean we're going to make $34.50 in profit. That just means that out of that $105, we're going to have $34.50 available to start paying down our fixed cost of the $2 million. Then once we sell enough units to get past the $2 million, that's when we start making profit. And so the question here was, hey, is it a good deal to actually introduce this new unit? And so now that we have our per unit contribution margin, we can kind of figure this out. And so our total increase in contribution margin is going to be our contribution margin per unit, which is $34.50, times the total number of units we're going to sell. So our contribution margin is going to go up by $4.14 million. But we're also going to lose some contribution margin because these existing units, we're going to sell less of them. So it tells us that our per unit contribution margin of the old unit is $20. We're going to take 20 and multiply that times our decrease in sales. So that's going to be 300,000 minus our 240,000, which is 60. So we are going to lose, let's make this a negative so we know it's a decrease. And so we're going to actually lose $1.2 million. And so the other thing we know is that by introducing this new product, our fixed costs are also going to go up by $2 million. There we go. If that's cost, let's make that negative. It makes sense. There we go. Okay, so what this is saying is that, hey, if we introduce this new product, we're going to make an extra $4.1 million, but then we're going to lose $1.2 million from decreased sales in the old product, plus we're going to increase our fixed cost by $2 million, but still we're going to come out $940,000 better off if we introduce this new product than if we don't. So part B is like, hey, should Santos introduce this new model? Well, yeah. Hey, if we introduce this new model, we're going to make $940,000 more than we would have if we didn't introduce it. So anyway, kind of a nice little problem to get us started and get us familiar with some of these terms, like variable cost, fixed cost, and contribution margin.